So we had a question about homework assignment 2, which is the credit sequence or the title sequence. It's better to have it run a little long so that everything is legible. The whole point of a credit sequence or title sequence is to give the viewer enough time to see the names of the people involved in the project. So if your assignment's going a little bit over, that's fine. Legibility and pacing are more important. Almost all of my students have their final assignment longer than the minimum requirement. Remember, it's only a minimum requirement, not a maximum requirement. So you want there to be time to read everything. All right, now I'm looking at a way to use this as a Luma Matte into the second homework assignment from Sam's project. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a car, just like a picture of a car going down the road, just so we have a reference. And we'll use that as our second image through the reveal. All right, I'm gonna hide the first animation. Here's the scene we're gonna fly into, okay? Now, right about here is where it's starting, all right? So I'm gonna do this. I'm going to, right here, the frame before that curl comes up at the bottom right-hand corner, do you see it? This is where I'm gonna do my layer split. Command-Shift-D or Control-Shift-D, or you can go Edit, Split Layer. Got it so far? The reason I did it here is that the whole animation at the beginning is not affected by it. So remember, with mattes and masks, they go on top of what you want to reveal. And I'm using After Effects 2023. And it's you know, just like all Adobe products, it's garbage. So here's the new Alpha Matte settings. So I want to be on my bottom layer. Okay, so here's my mattes right here. Remember, switches and modes. These are your switches. These are your modes. So the layer to be revealed, I go to the drop down and I can see over here, it's layer number 2. So I choose layer number 2. And the first one is for Alpha Matte. If I click one more time, it's going to be Luma Matte, and look at that. By golly, that worked. The second checkbox is Luma inverted. So we don't want the invert, we want this. So if we go like this, that will work. Okay, now that's the first thing. The logo, I don't mind the logo turning see-through like that. And if you want, we could even have it happen sooner, where I could say, hold down my Alt key, hit the square bracket by there, hold down my Alt key, hit the other square bracket. So right there, look at that. See, it's happening even sooner. Look even more deliberate. And if we want to be even more deliberate, you want to see something? Are you sure you want to see something? Okay, so I'm going to extend these layers again with my Alt and my square brackets. Now check this out. Pretend this is where I want the effect to start happening, but I want to be slick about it, okay? This is where I want it to be absolute, right here. I'm going to extend this layer to that right there. Hit T for transparency. And I'm going to go to about here. Set my second keyframe. So I'm just working backwards here. There we go. I'm going to set this one to 0. So now we're going to get a deliberate fade out. So it looks more intentional. Look at that. See how much better that is? Oh, and by the way, you're welcome. See, it pays to come to class early because there's always lots of learning to get it into. I'm going to send you this file and the car photo just for reference. So that is your fancy way of going from your main homework number 1 right into homework number 2. My middle name is awesome. I had a hard time growing up, but I've grown into it. Hey, my modesty knows no bounds. Now tell me if you can figure out why I'm doing this as well. Nope. I'm on After Effects 2023. You can go down the ladder, but not up. So I'm going to take a screenshot and send you the screenshot so you can see exactly how I laid everything out. And just remember that this is a Luma Matte, okay? See, don't I think of everything? Yeah. There's a reason people call me Professor. So I'll call this screenshot. Well, just I'll call it layer. No, you know what? I'll call it Luma Matte, just so you remember it's Luma Matte. Luma Matte. Here's why. So I prefer recording with OBS. I have control over the frame rate. I can lock things down. Plus, it's got built-in audio effects, like right here. What I do for my lectures is I use compressor, gain, limiter, and noise suppression. So I keep my mic low to cut down on the room noise, and then I artificially make the volume louder, so I've got a louder recording to work off of. The limiter is like cutting down the tall grass, so it doesn't go above the certain point to like clip the audio, make it distorted. Noise, yes, exactly. Well, yeah, you know a lot about, yeah. So this is all old hat to you. Noise suppression is just cutting down on the fan in the background. And the compressor just helps if I start trailing off with my talking to help it not be too quiet. Tries to level out the audio. So that's why I like using this. Oh, and so I'm recording my screen. And since I'm recording my screen and this is on my screen, it's the screen recording inside the recording. That's why that's doing that. But, yeah, but what you'll see, because I always edit down my lectures, what you'll see is you'll see this and not so much of the mirror effect. So I'm just in my normal 2K workspace. And I'll do a semi-rounded rectangle. And I went down to size. I'm going to make this 100 wide by, let's say, 300 long. Okay, so can everyone see? Oh, let me turn off the link. Can everyone see how I got the 100 and the 300? And I got to that information. All right. If I need to round this join, a fast way of doing it, first let me put my anchor point up here at the top. I'm holding down Command or Control. All right. So I know this is 100. So I'm going to click off of it. I'm going to make a circle. Just going to click and drag. Lower that. So I'm going to go to the same part, my path, my size, and I know it needs to be 100. And I'm going to hold down Command and double click so it's in the center, my anchor point. Okay, so now I can just put that at the top middle point. I've got a nice round join there. So just make sure it's the same width and the same color and it'll hide. Just, you know, take your time, line it up. Like if need be, wait, what is this? That's that. Okay, see, that did not do that. So I'm going to hold down Command and Control. There we go. All right, I'm happy with that. So I could go to my Align palette and now they're center aligned. And no, let's not do that one. Zoom in. Let me test something out real quick. Okay, can everyone see this right here? Next to my transparency? I'm gonna go to wireframe. Now, can you see how this is dead center? It's a perfectly centered right there. Wireframe showed me where those would meet. So now I can go back to off. And it's actually, oddly, a little off. Oh, it's because it's rounded. See that? The rounded part is what messed it up. So now I'm just going to do that. Now it's perfect. So yeah, just watch that round part if it's like that. And there we go. Now I can just do the same thing here. I could do Command D to duplicate it. Just move it straight down. And I've got it at the bottom of that join for the next part of the limb that's going to be meeting up with. Like such. All right. So now let's take a look at Sam. Zoom out. So I was in the wrong comp when I did that. Okay, so there's your opening scene, and then we get to scene 2. All right, and here we are at scene 2. So let's pretend this is your cassette and your cassette player, okay? And over here, we've got the photo that we just brought in. That is not a very large photo. So you see how it's filling the screen at this point? It'd be good if yours was able to do this. All right, so what I'm going to do is we'll pretend that your postcard looks like this, okay? All right. Now I'm going to use this postcard as an alpha matte. So I choose what's going to be revealed. The alpha matte shape is above it, like that. All right, and we're good. So here's your recorder, here's that. And we also talked about layer new, an adjustment layer over top of it, which affects everything below it. And there'll be a transform on it. Because remember, the transform effect will give us position, scale, and rotation that we can control every layer below here, like such. If I change the position, see how it looks like the camera's moving around the scene? Same with scale. Looks like we're zooming in. Got it? Boom. All right. Yes.
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 My, should my color layer be on the same layer as my line?
Color.
So like, should everything be not necessarily flat, but doesn't?
I hear what you're saying. Since you're doing something cleaner and simpler, I would probably do the fill and the color on the same layer. Especially if you're going to be doing some puppet pinning. Yep. All right. So I'm just messing around in lab, making a little bit of like anime wooder with just animating a texture. I'm just messing around, but like I said, we're gonna be going into nodes. Yes. Maybe work are you doing it in Illustrator or Photoshop? We would, yeah. Well, don't forget, if you're doing it in Illustrator, you can continuously rasterize the layers. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like really eerie. And my brother, he went to like look inside of it. Like, that's what it looks like.
Jeez.
It's a whole like neighborhood, like just old houses. Like that's another one. There's like trees are in the street. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. I really like the way you can easily animate textures in Blender. You just gotta watch all your nodes are connected. Well, what I like is you could go for some photorealism or physical-based renders, or you could do procedural renders. Like this is all procedural. I'm just animating texture and colorizing it. Now, see the difference adding a little bit of displacement on top of that? And like I said, I've got my whole node... Oh yeah, no problem. I've got my whole node tree here for everyone to look at. Like, and this would change the displacement if I change this gray to a black. Let's see what that does. See right there? I can adjust the gradient. That way too. It all depends upon the look you want. So let's see if I go back to that gray. Now I slide this around. You see the displacement changing based off that. If you hold down the control key and right click, you can cut a node strand. So what I did there was I have my grayscale color ramp going to the roughness, which is the transparency, as well as the displacement, where the other ones are using color. All right. Have a great night. Yeah. Have a great night. Here's what I was looking for. Since I've got both a bump map and a displacement map, I'm in cycles, I'm in my shader editor, and under volume, actually above volume, it's under surface, displacement, bump only, displacement, and bump. Now look at that. Now I'm seeing both.